That's where we start. If you're up here, number 1, 2 or 3 on your Google page, you'll probably get 100% click-through rate. Further down the column you'll go, at the bottom you'll only get probably less than 10% click-through rate. If you're on page 2, unlikely to get much click-through at all, and someone's really assiduously searching for something. And similarly up here, up here it's 50% click-through rate and so on, down the site. So our task, when we talk to our clients, is how do we figure that we get you up this organic search or the AdWords search on the site. And one of the problems we have with this, of course, is that for you to go up, somebody else has to come down. But you don't have to be perfect, you just have to be better than the competition. But it's a constant thing. I'm with Morris Trapp, a mate of mine, he was the coach of the Auckland team. The trouble with game plans, they're terrific, the other side gets the ball, and you can't just do it and pretend that you've done it. You've actually got to keep monitoring it all the time. And just having a social network strategy or an online strategy isn't a static thing. You can't say, well, I've done that, tick. You've actually got to have someone monitoring it. So it's actually not any cheaper than traditional advertising. But what you were spending on media space before, you've now got to pay for a salary for someone to monitor the stuff all the time. This is the thing we did, for example, for Green Acres, one of our clients, and we just did an analysis. They were almost entirely on yellow pages. That was most of their advertising. But well, look, let's take it off yellow pages and let's look at how we make it work for you on Google. And so we did some analysis. For example, we took the words lawn mowing, and we find out how many use that phrase to search. Well, we know in New Zealand there are 18,100 people every month who key in or Google looking for lawn mowing services. Now, assuming the click-through rate, say they're the top 2 or 3 on the Google page, and we know that the click-through rate is between 60% and 100%. And imagine only 1% of those actually then results in a sale. We know that they'll get 108 new sales per month, and at $30 per lawn mowing session, that's $6,500 a month if they can pick it up, or 78 grand a year. So that's the money you're leaving on the table if you're not on the top left-hand side on a Google page. So the task is, how do you get up there? How do you actually, either on the left-hand organic search side or on the right-hand AdWords side? So we can actually go through and know if you're on, at the bottom of the page, or at your Google position is 10 plus on the second page, there's nothing in it for you. So you've got to make sure that you've actually got to work hard and make sure you get right up there. Similarly with cleaning, household cleaning. We know that there are 49,500 searches every month on Google, and this is New Zealand wide. And again, if you're in Google position 1 to 3, and just for argument's sake, we get 60%, 1% convert, there's 290 sales, 7 sales a month. There's $1 million worth of business there by being at the top of the tree. And by actually working for them with that, we know that we've actually increased their search and their inquiry by 300% in the last 6 months, just by working at doing that. It's a lot more fastidious, a lot more painstaking, but you've actually got to make it happen. So I guess that's really the essence of it. Understanding your consumer, understanding your customers is really the key, and that's no different from what it ever has been. Everything changes, everything stays the same. Just the plumbing's different, just the techniques are different, just the tools are different. You've got to think about it a little bit harder and actually make it really work for you. I mean, that's the mantra for McDonald's. Quality, service, consistency, value. That's 60 years old. There's nothing new about that, and it's still the same. But if you understand your customers, and as I go back to those earlier slides, who are they? I mean, what are their conversations? What's happening? Are the conversations online the same as the conversations that you'd see reported? We did an exercise some time ago just about political parties. We did the Labour Party campaign last year. We just find out, is the stuff that's going on the chatter that's going on online the same as it is in daily newspapers? Not necessarily. So you've got to understand what people are saying. And then reward your customers. And that's the loyalty and recognition stuff. And that's what Air New Zealand does so well. One of the problems, of course, with the rewards, because there's no point in rewarding your frequent flyers with more air miles because they never bloody use them. Sorry, I can't fly anymore. I hate flying. And you can't give them a holiday they can't afford to take, but you can recognise them. You put them up in front of the bus, or give them a bit of seat in the Coral Lounge or whatever it is. Just do stuff. You don't just have to do rewards. You've got to do recognition as well. But because now you know who your customers are, you know what their habits are, how much they spend, you know where they go, they know who they talk to, you can surround them. I mean, that last guy, we could put a billboard up outside his house. You know, it's quite expensive to do that sort of stuff, but if you find a few influential people, the other day we were looking for a credit director for our interactive team, and we've done the usual things. We've got magazines that we own ourselves. We put free ads, and nothing happened. We went to headhunters, didn't get anybody. One tweet within 24 hours, we're the right person. Why? Because we put the lure right in front of where the fish were biting. We wanted a tweeting person. We got him because the Jim was on tweeting. So in summary, there's always an opportunity online. I mean, it's actually good fun to actually start drilling down. As I say, I'm not a geek, and I'll tell you tomorrow how much I hate computers, but I love storytelling. And I love finding out what makes people tick. What are they looking at? What are they reading? How do we find them? Who are we actually talking to? And it's actually good fun to go through that process and track them down. It's just a little bit more painstaking, a little bit more assiduous about how you find those things out. And then your competitor at the moment is probably only average. Only fewer than 20% of websites in New Zealand are optimised for mobile phones, and yet most people are now using mobiles to search stuff in store. That's the curse of a lot of clothing retailers in particular. You'll go into a store, you look at something and think, well, okay, I can get that cheaper somewhere else. So you actually sort of Google it and find, oh, heck, I can get it down the road from out 10 for less, or whatever it is. People are doing that stuff. 80% of people are now using their smartphones in store, and remember, smartphone usage has accelerated enormously. 70% of all phones sold now are smartphones, and since Telecom got rid of the CDM main network, and also the blogging, the use of tablets has grown enormously. We know, even 2 years ago, there was a blip in website traffic at 8:30 in the morning when people were getting into work and logging on. The blip now, the peak now, is 6:30 to 7 at night, because people are couch surfing, taking their tablets or their iPhones in front of television. Oh, they see something on their alarm immediately. So instead of that peak in web traffic starting at 8:30 in the morning, it's now 6:30 to 7:30 at night. So there's quite a different level of behaviour with people in the last couple of years. So what I'm about strategy is security market provides you a dominant position. Just be there and work it really hard. But above all, understand your customers. And we've got all the tools now to understand them perfectly. We just know exactly what they're doing, know who they're talking to, we know who influences them. It's not hard to find all that stuff out. So just do it, drill down. Get a 14-year-old kid to do it, they'll love it. And they're very good at doing that kind of stuff. So that's it. Thank you very much.